Hey everybody, I want to introduce you to our latest sponsor, Salt Electrolytes. Feeling depleted after a tough grappling session? Well, Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs. Salt contains 6 different electrolytes with a touch of iodine to help maintain a healthy thyroid. No sugar, no dyes, no bullshit. Go earn your salt. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the BJJ Foxcast. I am your host, Alex Martinez, and I'm here with my co-host, Alex Tojo Cray. Say hello, Tojo.
Hello, Tojo.
Hello, Tojo. So,
hold on. Pinkies up, bitches.
Pinkies up, bitches. We got little teacups. Where'd you find these?
In your fucking cupboard. And your cup bird.
Oh,
they beautiful.
We're drinking tea during our podcast. Buffalo Trace tea.
The finest of teas.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good tea.
I was trying to think of like a theme for this podcast, but
we need a fucking theme.
We need a theme. It's like a theme thing, right? Like everybody's like, "Ooh, what's your theme?"
We could talk about hunting.
No, because that'll make D mad. I don't want to make D mad.
I do.
I don't want to make him any madder than I already make him.
Well, we could talk about ecological jiu-jitsu because I like that too.
Dude, that's like
we already talked about it.
We did. We did talk about it.
That was the last time we drank Buffalo Trace, and we killed the bottle.
We killed the whole bottle. Yeah, I've been looking more and more into it, and I don't know, man. I'm not bought in, but I don't know if, like I said, I don't know enough about it to give you.
I think it's like saying like ecological jiu-jitsu is like saying you're into drilling, situationals, live sparring.
It's all live. Yeah, it's all like live.
It's just another, like thing that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? Modality.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on and just do what I've always done because I fucking love it, and if you love it, why change it?
Yeah,
that's just it.
Yeah, fuck it.
And
I don't even want to get better, anyways.
You know, there's a guy. Gosh, man, I wish I could remember his Instagram handle, but he's like on every friggin'. You say anything, you even make your face go eat like equal anything. He's fucking on you.
Is it Dan?
Nah. He's I don't know.
You need
who
to put a weight on that.
Nah, I don't know who he is, but he's like he's a defender of the eco. And
you're talking about one of the
trolls.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. They're not trolls. They're actually into it. In my opinion, like
no. Have you seen the guy? He looks like a troll.
Oh, so he actually looks like a troll.
Yeah,
like
I don't mean like he's cunning on the fucking interwebs. He looks like a fucking troll.
It's one of my pet peeves. I feel like people use troll for anybody who disagrees with them. They're a troll. It's like, no, a troll is someone who's like literally just trying to get a rise out of you.
Yeah, like Tojo.
Like me.
Yeah, but this guy's like, it's like, I don't know, man. Like you're trying to be all like intellectual about all this stuff, like cool, but I'm not impressed.
I mean, it's just like anything else. It's like studying jiu-jitsu helps some people, like watching, tournament footage.
Yeah.
Watching, what's it called, like BJJ Fanatics videos.
Yeah.
Like some people like get a lot out of that.
Yeah.
Some people don't.
True.
It's just another way to like learn.
Yeah. I think we're giving it too much time. We're giving it too much.
Yeah, we are. I mean, it's gonna burn bright and then
die.
Fizzle out. That's how it all works.
Yeah. Anyway, so dude, the tournament today was small.
Yeah, you couldn't tell by the parking lot. They had like 1,500 things going on.
But they had like cheer and all this other stuff.
They had volleyball, baseball? No, basketball, and then soccer. It was just like
Special Olympics.
Really?
Cheer. Yeah.
Oh.
That was all happening at the whatchamacallit, the Arizona Athletic Grounds.
For a second I was like, you're making a joke like that?
No, I'm serious. I'm not making a joke. I'm not making a joke. Have you ever seen that guy, the comic Shane Gillis?
Of course I love Shane Gillis.
Oh my gosh, dude. He is fucking crazy, man.
Shane Gillis is like one of my favorite to listen to. He just like everything that comes out of his mouth is offensive and hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you sum him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So tournament was small. I only had, technically 2, right?
Yeah.
But Kelsey fought and a girl from Tucson. That girl, she competes a lot.
Yeah.
That girl from Tucson.
Yeah, I think she just got her purple belt, and I think she just got into Masters too.
No, I think Kelsey had to go down.
No. Yes, yeah. So Kelsey had to go down in age to Masters 1, and the girl went up to Masters 1. Well, I guess she is Masters 1, but went up in weight to featherweight because she's a light feather. Oh,
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was cool. I mean,
I mean, that's what the women have to do, unfortunately, still. Like, unless you're talking about, well, even like, well, I guess it depends on the size and the belt and everything, but like Worlds.
They're only getting 2 matches at Worlds. Yeah. You know? Most of the age groups.
If you're like a Masters higher belt, like if you're an adult, then you still get matches. Like,
of course. Yeah. That's, I mean, adult World's totally different. Those guys are scrounging just to fucking make enough points to get in. You know what I mean? So they're going to show up.
Well, I'm talking about the women specifically. Like it's a tough beat, especially if you're like Masters 3, 4, like you're up there. Yeah. Like a lot of those women have to go down.
Yeah. It's rough, man. And, I remember Amy, like in the earlier colored belts, like blue and purple, having to go down to like adult, and thank God they came up with that rule. Like you can't get makeup all over your partner's gi, all over your
fucking stupid.
That's fucking wild, dude. Yeah. Amy would come off the mat. There's like the girl's face like on her shoulder, Yeah.
I always think it's funny, like when you go to like the gym and you like some guy walks by and he just like reeks of cologne. I'm like, who are you trying to impress? You're at the fucking gym.
Listen, I will take cologne over sticky BO any day.
I don't care.
No, sticky BO bothers me. Sticky BO, do you know what sticky BO is?
Sticky or stinky?
Sticky BO.
Okay, go
is
on.
When you smell normal and someone has bad BO that sticks to you after you roll with them.
And then you're like, ugh.
And then you're trying to convince everybody that it's not you.
You're like, it's Jim. It's fucking Jim.
Yeah. I'm not a rat, but he did it. So sticky BO bothers me a lot.
Have you ever like come in with like a rash guard that's kind of like perma-stinked?
Dude, actually, just yesterday, Taylor walks up to me. She goes, "Hey, does my gi smell?" And I was like, I smelled her gi. I was like, "No, it smells like a pixie stick dust." You know what I remember? Pixie sticks? You remember those?
Of course.
That's what it smelled like.
Yeah, you snort them.
It smells fine. Yeah, I snort them. And then she goes, "I still smell it." And I was like, "It's your rash guard."
Yeah.
I said, rash guards are tricky because like they'll smell fine until you start sweating.
Until you get a little wet. Yeah.
You start sweating in them and you're like, "Oh no." And I told her, like, if you can smell it, it's you. And you either have to, soak it in vinegar and hope for the best, or you got to retire it. And then I said, "Congratulations, you're retiring your first rash guard."
Yeah.
That means you've been doing this a minute, right?
Well, it means you made the right mistakes.
Yeah, you made the right mistakes.
Of letting your rash guard just sit balled up and like letting it get
sticky. I didn't think about that.
You gotta air dry them.
She was irresponsible.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you could either like the best option, if you're willing to fucking run the laundry this much, is wash your gi right when you get home.
I'll run the laundry every day.
Yeah. I mean, I have to wash probably every other day, I would say. It depends if Kelsey's training too and leaving her gis at my house, because after we both train in the same session, I don't usually run more than 2 gis at a time.
Does Kelsey have sticky BO?
Yes, of course. Of course she does. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to, because I mean, man, it beats the shit out of your washers.
Dude, I as soon as we get home, gis go in the wash and we wash them every day.
If it's both of us, if it's just me, like say like I train in the morning and I have 1 gi and then I train in the evening, then I'll run that gi. But
you should put your gi on one of your dogs. Just let that bitch run loose.
Yeah, just let it air dry that way.
Well, it'd be like 3 minutes.
Ripley hates wearing clothes. Like if you buy her like little dog clothes, Hazel loves it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hazel's the smaller one.
Hazel's the
younger one.
No. Ripley's the smaller and the younger one.
Okay.
Yeah. Hazel's like, well, she's so anxious. I think she like likes having it wrapped around her. Like I think it's like a Thunder Buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, Thunder Buddy. I like that.
I know. Yeah. She's a fucking idiot.
Shout out to Ted.
That movie's actually pretty funny. The second one, we could have done without that.
That movie was so funny. That
it's not as good. It's not as underrated as Tropic Thunder. That is the most underrated movie of all time.
Yeah, I brought up something came up in the academy the other day where I talked about Tropic Thunder, and I was like, make time to watch that movie if you've never seen it. Oh, the Apple Bottom Jeans song came on.
Tom Cruise.
And I was like, I can't think of this song without thinking about Tom Cruise.
How good of a role is that for him?
Dude,
he fucking nails it.
So
he
good.
just has to be an asshole, like an asshole executive, and he's in a fat suit. It's just
a hairy fat, like he had hairy knuckles
and bald. He has a bald head, right?
Yep, glasses.
They're like, let's make Tom Cruise the ugliest man alive.
I think he asked to be in that role.
Oh, he fucking killed it.
He fucking killed it, and I think he insisted on like the chain and all the other shit.
Oh yeah, he wants to be like that douchebag executive, and he fucking nails it.
He nailed it, and then everybody forgets about Matthew McConaughey.
Oh,
he was so good.
He's so good in that. Like,
There's
not a bad
funny.
There's not a bad performance in it.
No, there isn't.
Everyone fucking nails it.
Yeah.
Fucking Danny McBride. Time to put Tiger Bomb on this jungle's nuts.
Danny McBride was so good. We doing this or what? He blows up the whole jungle and the cameras weren't running. Oh, shit,
That
dude.
movie's so good. That's one of those movies that if it's on, I'm watching it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I don't care, like, what part it's on. You know what I mean?
Matter.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
When, what's his name? The fat guy, Tenacious D.
Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Yeah.
When he's like jonesing for, he's like, I'll suck your dick. He just wants drugs.
I need my vitamins.
I need my vitamins.
Scratching his teeth. Oh, shit, dude.
He's fucking awesome. I love Jack
That was
Black.
such great. This is good tea.
Yeah, this tea is really working.
Oh
I stopped at Paul's watering hole on the way over here. I'm not going to shout it out, but I stopped there. We were driving by and Kelsey was like, I want to, she's like, can we stop at Fry's before you go to Alex so I can grab some beer? And I was like, you want to grab a beer here? So, and I was like on the left side. I'm like, basic maneuvers. Good luck, everyone else.
Good luck, everybody.
Just fucking shot over into the parking lot. Yeah.
So you drove the mini truck all the way to the venue. Side streets, or did you take the highway?
Side streets.
Yeah.
That thing doesn't do the highway.
No. Does it shake on the highway?
It's not that it shakes. It's that, like, well, first of all, it's like I can get it to 70. Well, I tell Kelsey, I'm like, when you're in the car, I can't do 70.
Are you serious?
Seriously. So so sometimes, like, so you know how like I live off of Dobson and then like the school's on Alma School.
Yeah.
So I'll like sometimes it'll just be like the quick way to make the mile.
Yeah.
So I'll just go on the on ramp and hit the off ramp right away.
Yeah.
When it's by myself, I can get to like 72, 73. When Kelsey's in the car, like in the morning when I'm driving with Kelsey, I can like maybe hit 70.
Okay. You know what we should do? We should strap boxes onto the back of it and put like biohazard shit on it. Just keep it there permanently. Empty boxes, you know what I mean? Just drive around with them.
So people will like just, and they'll give me a little bit of room. They're like,
I bet they won't move your truck anymore.
I bet they won't. It's radioactive.
That'd be really
buy
funny.
some 55-gallon drums.
Yeah. Yeah, just throw. No, but they got to be like. I mean, I want you to be able to do at least 30. You know, what I mean?
They'll be empty.
Yeah, but they're still heavy.
No, they're not.
A 55-gallon drum weighs as much as Kelsey.
No, they don't. They weigh like 40 pounds.
Okay, so 2 of them will weigh as much as Kelsey.
3 is Kelsey.
Okay, yeah, so you won't be able to do 70.
Yeah, but if I have 3 of those things in the back, and you have to have 3.
Oh yeah, you can't do 1.
Yeah, so you're right. No,
1
you're
to
right.
2.
You're right, because then it will be a Kelsey if I have 3 of those.
Yeah. So I think empty boxes, because so the drum will make it look more secure. Like, oh, this guy took the time to really put the stuff in a box that's probably fallen apart because it's just been sitting back there for a month.
You know what I should try to find is like one of those like old school, like the wooden crates like that they used to transfer like nukes in.
Yes.
Big fucking. You had to have like a crowbar to fucking break into it.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
I'll just make one.
Like the one from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
This is exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where they had like the alien.
Yep.
Or no. Well, that would have been the stupid Dark Crystal. No, that's a different movie.
Oh Jesus! Wow, you're going way back.
Whatever.
Was that the one with the flying dog? What was the one with the flying dog? Remember that?
Wait, are you talking about?
I'm thinking Never-Ending Story, not Dark Crystal.
Okay.
Dark Crystal was creepy, dude. That was like a stoner movie.
With the Skeksis.
Yeah.
And they remade it too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Did it suck?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, good. Got to stick with
Which
that
sucks
theme.
because it was like Jim Henson's daughter was the executive that ran it.
She'll never be Jim Henson.
Unfortunately, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
Live in that shadow.
Yeah.
It's like Will Smith's kids. God,
What do you mean?
Quit putting cameras on those kids.
Oh yeah,
they're so talentless.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, didn't one of them do like a karate movie?
Yeah, it sucked. It was Karate Kid like 10 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
It had Jackie Chan in it.
Yes, Jackie Chan was the new Miyagi.
It sucked ass.
Really?
Oh yeah, sucked ass.
Mm.
And then he did that movie with his dad where it was like they came back to Earth and it was like Earth in the future and it's like fucking hostile or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It was so forgettable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
What was that? That Tom Cruise movie where he kept dying?
Oh, it has 2 names. Because there was like I think it's like a comic book name at first, and then they have I can't remember what they call it, but someone's yelling at it. It's this.
You stupid motherfuckers.
That's a good movie though. I like that. That one's fun.
Yeah, I think we're due for a shitting on the shitting on the comments. Sorry, I think when we had that 3 weeks where we didn't have a podcast right over the holidays, and then everybody kind of forgot about the show. With a few people like hitting me up like, "Hey, I haven't seen an episode."
Like fucking relax.
No,
love your family.
Tojo needs some time off.
Kiss your dog.
But it was cool that they were asking about it. But man, as soon as we came back with those reels. Wow, there are some angry people out there, dude.
Well, that's because you say stupid shit.
I say stupid shit anyway. Doesn't mean anyone should listen.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when people think we give a shit.
I had one guy comment, number 1, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. Number 2, yada, yada, yada. Number 3, your fucking ego. I was like, number 1, no one gives a fuck what you say. Number 2, see number 1. Number 3, see number 1.
See number 2. Because then you see number 1.
Yeah. And then he replied with are you just replying because this is the only traction your reel's getting?
Yep.
I said no. I reply to all comments because that's a polite thing to do. Yeah. And I wanted to go off on him, but I don't want to punch down. You know what I mean?
I do. Remember the little 13-year-old I was having an argument with?
I know. But this guy was like, he was talking about all the traction he's given our podcast. He's got like 2 subscribers. He's just a guy that sits on his shitter and
hey,
comments.
What about? I have 2 subscribers.
You don't.
All right, maybe 3.
Yeah, because nobody wants to hear what you got to say, including not even that guy.
I don't even want to hear what I have to say. Every time I hear like myself on the podcast, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, you know how unlikely this guy is to get subscribers. He uses his real name.
What a fucking loser. What a fucking loser.
Yeah. Anyway,
he doesn't even have his own podcast.
What a jerk.
Yeah. So easy.
Yeah. Piece of cake.
You just got to buy all of this shit.
Oh my God. No, you don't. Actually, you know what? You know what I'm learning? Like YouTube gets the least amount of traction. Spotify.
Yeah. And you every fucking time we have a podcast, you're like, oh, the lighting. I'm like, no one fucking watches.
I don't care. I need the lighting to be right.
It's fucking Bill's
Just
fault.
give me that.
You're just trying to get Bill erect, and it's kind of annoying.
Getting Bill erect is way easier than lighting, bro.
I know. Well, it's because he's on T.
He is. He is. Holy shit, yes.
I miss Bill. I haven't seen Bill in a long time.
I see him every other day, and I was telling him.
He does your 4 p.m., right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was telling him yesterday. I was like, Wednesday. I was like, I didn't miss you. I didn't miss you. Oh my God.
I'll probably sneak into it. Actually, I'm off on Monday. I'm going to come to your 4 p.m. then.
There you go, man. Cool.
Yeah.
You should come to my 7 p.m.
No, I don't fucking care. Maybe I'll stay and do both.
Yeah, do both.
4 to 5, and then I have to fucking hang out for 2 hours. Ugh. It's just kids class and then fundies and then
kids class, fundies, and then fundies has been fucking great.
Maybe I'll help Justin wrangle kids.
So we have a bunch of new guys.
Kids or adults?
Adults.
Okay.
And fundies has been packed, dude. Packed. Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I jumped on to help out, and it's fun, man, because like a lot of those guys are like. A few of those guys are like super smart. Yeah. But they haven't done any contact sports like ever. Mm-hmm. And they're so digging this. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I thought, that, being so hands-on or so close to other people would bother me. Because they're like, I love it. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, like, there's like real science to this, like the closeness. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So being good for you. And
well, there's like a special kind of camaraderie, like not even like the combat sport thing. It's like anything as intimate as like a combat sport in general. Yeah. Because it's like if you're playing basketball, it's like you're not really interacting with people. You're like interacting with them through the ball, essentially, right? Yes. But jiu-jitsu, you don't have that like buffer, right? The buffer is you and this person. It's like just how much you're willing to like give this person. Yeah.
And I was thinking about this the other day. I think the camaraderie comes from not just that, because that helps, right? So if you and I are working together a lot, like we become really close. Yeah. But like
touch tips.
When you're drilling really, really hard and a buddy of yours is like next to you drilling as hard.
Drilling doesn't work, right?
It doesn't work. Okay. Have you ever considered not taking any instruction whatsoever and just figuring it out yourself?
Have you seen the way I tie my belt? That's my favorite meme. That's a good one.
So good. Yeah. But you see somebody else working as hard, you can't help but like give them a nod or knuckles or whatever. And same thing in basketball. In basketball, you'll see the guys that like are killing themselves to get to the ball or to get open, and that's always like those two like they just connect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's you recognize that dog in them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's really cool. So we got a bunch of new guys, and they're really enjoying it.
Yeah. So the funnies class is always the first class to blow up, right? Because anytime you get like an influx of people, that's the place they go.
That's the place they go.
Because they can't just like kind of like, well, I'm going to choose to do the mixed levels. It's like, well, you can, but like you're going to be lost. Yeah. Right. So it's a real easy step to like just jump into the funnies class, and like so the funnies class is always the class that blows up first when you have like. Because, like, as you know, as like a gym owner, it's like it ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah.
You don't have this constant influx of students, otherwise you'd be fucking overflowing.
Yeah.
But it always bums me out because it's like you'll have this like month, say, like where you have like these like huge fundies classes. Not all of them stay though.
True. Yeah.
And it's just like we used to joke, right? It's like there's like no point in learning the white belt's name until they're blue belt or have 4 stripes or whatever, because it's like because they're gonna be. It is fucked up, but like but there's some truth to it because it's like half of these people are not going to be here in a month.
Yeah.
Or maybe say like 3 months or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I implemented a retention specialist in our academy, things have been much better with regards to retention. Because we were bringing a bunch of people through the front door, they were leaving out the back door. Yeah, and it was like same number over and over, month over month.
To be clear, like I'm not like blaming these people, because there's a lot of things that we do as either gym employees or gym owners that kind of like not push people away, but make them not stay. Like, because like if you're not reaching out to people, like especially at those like that when they're really fresh is when they really need the compliments, or at least then like they need someone to notice that they're getting better and let them know. Right, because like when you're fucking lost and like you do something good, you don't know that you did something good. You're still so fresh and so new. It's like it goes. It's just like it's 2 seconds of your day, right? Just be like, dude, that was really nice.
That was really nice. Yeah,
you're getting that good. You're catching on.
Well, that and I have a mandate to all my coaches, all my staff. Yeah, that like if you see somebody you don't recognize, you walk up and introduce yourself. Yeah, whether it's a parent or another student or whatever, you just because everybody loves to hear the sound of their name. Yeah, right. So if you walk up and like, hey, I'm Alex, blah blah blah, and they introduce themselves, where are you from, that kind of thing. Yeah. That means something. Yeah. That always has meant something, and it's a small thing to do. Walk up and I tell them, like, even if you recognize them and you think you should know their name, do it anyway.
I was just about to say that. It was like man, like for a while it's tough when you get in that situation where you're like, I should know your name. Yes. I'm like, I am so over that at this point. I'm just like, remind me your name.
Right.
Like, I know you. I'm like, I see 100 different people every day. It's just like, remind me your name. Yeah. Cool. All right. Awesome. Good to see you again. Like people aren't really offended when that happens, because it fucking happens to everybody. Yeah. We all experience this, like whether or not it's like at work, like maybe it's your neighbor, like you've met before, and maybe you borrowed some fucking sugar from them or whatever.
Yeah. Something.
Don't give the sugar back though.
Don't give the sugar back. That's a bad look. Yeah. That's a bad look.
Like, let me shit this out. I'll get you. But you know what I mean? Like a lot of people are like, I should know their name. I've gone past the point of like asking their name. It's like, just be like, hey dude, I forgot. Remind me your name. Like, it's like, it's not that hard. People are not that offended. Like people think they're going to be so offended when that happens.
No,
like,
they're cool about it. They're cool about it.
Yeah. You're making an effort though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're making an effort to know that person. And sometimes that's all they need. Yeah. As a gym owner or one of the coaches, it's like, just take that little bit of effort. Yeah. I know you might be embarrassed, but who fucking cares?
Yeah. Oh, hey, before I forget, I got to give a shout out to my man Redbird.
I don't know who that is.
Redbird is a guy, he works the tournaments.
Oh, fuck him then.
No. he was a guy in the walker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came up, introduced himself.
Why don't you lead with that? I'm just kidding.
Because you fucking dig your own holes. Tojo's an asshole, Redbird.
That's true.
So
That's true.
He comes up and he's like, "Hey, are you the guy I see on Instagram?" I'm like,
"Yep."
Shit.
What did you hear?
I said, "It depends. Do you like what I say?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yes, I'm that guy." But he loves the show. He loves watching the Instagram stuff. So
That's
shout out to Redbird, man. Hey, thank you for coming up and introducing yourself, dude.
Is he trained?
Really cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's got mangled ears too, man.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah, he goes.
He's kind of got long hair though, right? Yeah.
He says, I work the tournament so I can compete. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. And then he says, I can't wait to get my purple belt because I want to be a referee because that's where the real money is. He goes, fuck yeah, man.
You're like, I got news for you, kid.
Make your paper, Redbird. Yeah. So thank you for coming and introducing yourself, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's always cool to like run into people who are like, hey, I've heard you guys on the podcast. And
yes.
Like, really?
Right. Yeah.
So the guy's arguing. He's like, yeah, actually, that engagement actually does get our voice out a little farther than yours. So
it does.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck you. Fucking asshole. Yeah. So we should do you know what we should do? We should have Kelsey sitting at that table. And then we'll have her with my laptop.
Can you find something more stable and less janky for her to sit at?
Not that table, the other one.
Oh, okay.
The big one. So I'll have her at that table with my laptop, and she'll just be like spitting out comments.
Don't check the history.
Yeah, don't check that history. Yeah, so have her spitting out comments, and we can shit on the comments.
How to submit white belts as a black belt.
How to show my face in the academy after getting submitted by 3 white belts. Fuck. How do you do that?
He was a wrestler.
He was wearing spats with no shorts. I was not fighting back.
Tell the Aaron story today.
Oh my God. Aaron Wilson, I love you. I am such a fucking prick.
It's so funny though.
Okay, so let me paint the picture. So we're done with wrestling class and all the wrestling guys are like at the tables. Like we're just
Aaron Wilson teaches the wrestling class.
Yeah, Aaron Wilson is my wrestling coach. And he just finished the class. He's sitting at a table, you know, it's kind of like one of those holding court things. Like everybody's like talking to him and, asking him questions and stuff. And Aaron's like being super gracious with his time because he had to leave. Yeah. But he was being super gracious with his time. And I had the bright idea, like we have our clock, right? Mm-hmm. That all we have to do is like tell it what to do and it'll just do it. But we use our iPad to do that, right? Because it syncs. But it'll still do that. And we can play YouTube videos on the TVs. We have 4 TVs. So I can have the clock going and the YouTube videos. The only thing we haven't figured out, we can't get music yet. So I have to figure that piece out. But
like when you go to like an Asian restaurant and they're like playing fucking K-pop.
Yes. Yeah. But with the TVs. Yeah. So I don't have my glasses on. Taylor's scrolling through. I was like, go to YouTube. I said, I don't know. Let's play some videos. I said, go to UFC Fight Pass. And she types in UFC Fight Pass. And then I'm like, she goes, here's one. It's 21 minutes long. It was like highlights. Mm-hmm. She hits play, and it's Aaron being fucking bodied, dude. And Aaron, you just hear like, and the volume was loud. The volume was all the way up, and you said, "Wow!" With Aaron getting slammed. Who was it though? Was it
Canuto?
Canuto, yeah. It's fucking slammed. And Aaron's like, "What the fuck, Alex?"
So that first night at Nogi Worlds, when when Kelsey and I were like, we don't have any issues making weight, so we went to that burger place down the street.
Yeah.
We look over and it's Canuto and his wife.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, take a picture of me with Canuto in the background.
You didn't say hello?
It's funny. It's like he actually ended up saying hello to us.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, he came up to us and he was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Like he knew because we had the wristbands because of day one, right? Yeah. So I had like the wristband on or whatever,
and your mangled ears,
and my mangled fucking ears.
Yeah.
So he like came over and say hi, and
you had a bedazzled shirt that says "I do jiu-jitsu."
I wore my my lanyard that says black belt.
Oh my God!
Someone was giving me shit about this shirt because like the back is that
swimming with sharks.
Yeah, that shirt.
God!
Yeah. It's a cool shirt.
I have that shirt.
It's a cool shirt.
So Amy and I got that shirt. We got some blue shirts that match, and something else because when we were going on a cruise, we were gonna do matchy shirts whenever we went like out on town. Yeah.
Gay.
Here's the funny part. It was too cold, so we just fucking wore our hoodies over it. No one ever saw the matching shirts. It was too damn
Did you
cold.
See Aaron and his son all matching.
Yeah, they didn't have matching shoes though. Blew it, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron.
You blew it.
Missed opportunity.
Yep.
Get him on those New Balances.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you got to earn the New Balances. That's dad shoes.
You do have to. Oh, that is some dad shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, his son had some Nikes on though.
Yeah. I felt so bad. I just blasted my wrestling coach in front of the whole team. Oh my God.
Oh, speaking of Aaron, so he had like kind of like not a black eye, but like his like you can see like there was like some like either like abrasion or like almost bruising on his face. So I was like, so who had to tell you twice? And he's like, I train hard, Tojo.
Yeah.
And I look at his son. I was like, does your son train hard too? And he was like, he was running and he just met the pavement, or he said he met the asphalt.
Oh, poor baby.
He's like, it's his ass's fault.
Oh.
That kid was just.
Oh my God.
He's good. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Yeah,
yeah.
I was, it was weird because I'm standing in next to Aaron when we're bowing out, and I'm like, this guy was my first wrestling coach. Mm-hmm. So I let the whole team know, like, when I first started, competing.
So you put him on blast for like with the video, and you put him on blast showing him how bad of a coach he is?
No, that was after.
Okay.
So it was before.
Okay.
So no, we're in the line, and I'm like, gosh, I was telling everybody how when I first started competing, I had no confidence from my feet because I knew nothing. And then like Aaron was a wrestling coach, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just show up for wrestling. And most of the time, it was just me and Aaron.
Yeah.
Because we were such a small team, back then. And everybody was like,
wrestling was like, remember when we tried to do judo too? Like Paul tried to have like a
first
judo class?
first Monday of the month.
It's like that was the day that no one showed up.
Well, I remember, dude, I showed up because I whatever I could learn was like, more than I knew.
Well, that's the attitude you should have.
Yeah.
But people are like, I just want to do jiu-jitsu.
Dude, I remember people.
This is jiu-jitsu.
I remember people walking out as our coach was walking and judo coach was walking.
Because they realized what it was.
Yeah. Like, it's
and Monday. It was Sarah Black. I'm like, people don't know. Like, Sarah Black is a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, dude. And she's such a good person too, man. Like,
she's so nice.
Yeah.
I actually sent someone their way. I was at REI, and the guy's like, he saw my fucking ears. He's like, you train jiu-jitsu? I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he had like a little bit going on. He's like, yeah, I trained for a little bit. He's like, I haven't trained in a while. And I was like, okay, where do you live? He's like, I live around here. So it's like Ahwatukee. And I was like, you either need to go to Marcio Andres or you need to go check out South Mountain. Yeah. Because like bad motherfuckers, both schools.
Both schools.
You can't go wrong.
And they're beautiful facilities, dude.
Yeah, good
beautiful
facilities.
Both beautiful. Yeah. So.
It's kind of funny because it's like in Ahwatukee, I'm like, I'm not going to be like, come to my school.
Right. Yeah.
Because then they'll never come.
Dude, I get a bunch of people, because, the advertising.
Yeah.
I get a bunch of people. We try to keep the advertising within 8 miles of the academy. Yeah. That's just smart. But sometimes other people will get it, know, or they'll get tagged like, hey, you should check this out.
Their friend of a friend of a friend, whatever.
And they'll hit me up and they're like, oh, I'd love to check it out. But you're like 45 minutes from me. I'm like, where are you? And then I'll send them screenshots. Yeah. And I'll be like, hey, check this one out, check that one out.
And I like to think that like most of the people that are coaching or at least like kind of like are leaders, like I would say like, brown and black belts generally, or I would consider them, even if you're not a coach, you're still a leader in the community.
Of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to say that like most people are like, okay, tell me where you're at. Okay. Here's the good schools around you. Because there's so much good jiu-jitsu in Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh, there's tons.
Like, I'm not going to be the one who's like, well, I just think it's short-sighted, right? Because like if I tell some guy who lives in like North Phoenix, is like, you have to come to my school,
right? Yeah,
it's like, okay, he might do it for like a week, and then he's like, dude, I'm fucking driving 45 minutes,
in traffic.
Yeah, I'm like, and then he quits. And it's like you're doing nobody a service that way.
So when people come in and they're like within a reasonable distance, like say 15 minutes, that's pretty reasonable, but they'll be like, oh, I want to, try a class if you don't mind. I'm like, listen, absolutely, come in, try a class, see if you like it. If we're a good vibe, if we fit, we'll move forward. Yeah. I said, but if we're not, I said, don't ghost me because I'll point you in the right direction. Yeah. I always tell them that. Yeah. And then like, there's some people that are like, not the right place for me, whatever, and then I'll I'll point him into a different school.
Yeah.
But I write down the information on the back of my business card.
Yeah.
I said, make sure you hand them this when you walk through the door.
Who recommended you. But you know, it's funny. It's like how many other industries where you'd like openly be like, hey, you should, like, Apple's not being like, hey, you should go check out Microsoft.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like in jiu-jitsu, it's just like, hey, you're on the west side, you should check out this school.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's
totally.
because you know it's like that's not your school. You're like, but like, well, to be fair, like people's life stuff changes, right?
Of course.
It's almost like you know paying it forward. You know, there's a little bit of that, but there's also like, well, what if they move to the east side?
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, hey, this guy was straight with me.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like he could have
happened.
He could have very easily have been like, you have to come to my school. All the other jiu-jitsu sucks.
Yeah.
Or you do the smart thing, be like, hey, dude, there's so much good jiu-jitsu. If you live over here, go here.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a guy.
Even if they're not even on your part of your team.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a guy from Eloy.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, I want to come in. I'm like, bro, like if you're going to come this far, you might as well stop in Chandler.
Right.
You know, there's plenty of jiu-jitsu there, you know.
Or Awatuki. I mean, because I-10 hits right there.
Yep, same thing. Yeah. I mean, it's right up the street. But yeah, he was looking for a spot, and he was like one of the. I really enjoyed talking to him because he was like, I don't want to say desperate, but he really, really wanted to start, and he would do whatever it took to get that start.
I mean, when you live in a small town like that, like there's no jiu-jitsu there, obviously.
Right,
I mean, there might be, I don't know. But like, you know, small towns, it's like you kind of don't really have an option other than to like travel if that's what you truly want.
Yeah.
Which is like, we were kind of talking about like scheduling and stuff like changing the schedule, like before, like make it earlier an hour, make it later an hour. It's like, you can't play that game. Just put your schedule out there. If it's important to somebody, they'll make it work.
Yeah.
They'll make it work. But if you like, someone's like, oh, I can't make the 7 o'clock. I need a 6:30 class. And then you change your schedule to 6:30.
Yeah.
And then people are like, well, that's too early because of work. And it's like, you're always going to be fucking someone's schedule up.
Yep. Yeah.
So just don't like, it's one thing if you have like a 9 o'clock class, you know, like late as fuck.
Yeah.
Or like a 4 o'clock class. Like if say like your 4 o'clock was your only fucking mixed levels class.
That would be rough.
That'd be rough,
Yeah.
right? Because most people work till at least 5, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like you kind of have to just like put your schedule out there. If people really want it, they'll make it work in their
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm really happy with the decision to go forward with the 4 o'clock class. You know, unfortunately,
I hate it.
I really believe that. Man, it was like. I don't know what to call it, but someone said, "Hey, we should do a 4 o'clock," and I'm like, "Are you crazy? 4 o'clock?
You should fire your 4
4
o'clock coach."
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of him. You know, he's actually gonna do his own thing soon, so
we'll see.
Yeah, it'll work itself out.
He sucks though.
Yeah, fuck
he cares
that.
a lot about lighting.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, all he talks about is lighting. What a punk.
and butt stuff.
At all the wrong times. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
We need to have Bill back on.
Sure. Yeah, let's get another chair. We'll
we should have Bill and his partner on.
That would be fun.
And by partner, I mean his podcast partner, not his wife.
Oh, that would be cool.
But that's not.
Let's go on their podcast.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. I'll hit him up. See if we can get on their podcast.
To be clear, I think his wife is a wonderful person, and we could have her on too. But she does buffer him, and I like the let loose Bill.
I really enjoyed when she was sitting in here and he was on the show, and she's like, "Nope,
shut it, shut the fuck up."
That was so great.
She's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I think she's really fun. I think their dynamic is really fun.
Oh, it's perfect
because he's just a fucking loose cannon.
Yes. Yeah. They're really good
and
together.
She's the holster.
Yes. Yes. That's a great way to put it. She's the holster. He's the loose cannon. Yeah.
Trying to contain that fucking cannon.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay. I mean, you got to give her credit because, like, man, it would be real easy to just be like, fuck this. Fuck this.
Yeah, man. Oh, my God.
Olivia. She's awesome.
Shout out to Olivia.
Yeah.
Yeah. They drove 2 days from Washington, and I get to the academy. I went out, grabbed some food, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was Wednesday. Grabbed some food. Came back like 3 o'clock. I was like, I'll just clean up and do some shit, you know. Open the door. There's Bill. Oh, I'm walking up and you can see that it's not locked. I'm
Did
like,
he have clothes on?
Yeah, he had to close on, thank God.
Oh, thank goodness.
But he was just sitting there. I'm like, what's up, buddy? he goes, oh, I've been here for like 15 minutes. We just got back. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, we drove. Olivia dropped me off. And then she went home. I'm like, are you crazy, dude? Like, he came straight to work. I'm like, you could have just come Friday. He's like, shut your face.
Well, I have a guy who would, you know him, Gilbert. So he just had moved to the west side.
White belt Gilbert?
No. He just got his purple belt.
Oh, Gilbert. Yeah.
And like, he's like, I'm gonna train with you guys.
Wow.
But he works over here.
Oh, okay. That works.
But he just had to move, and his girlfriend lives in like basically central Phoenix. So a lot of times he'll stay at her house to make it easier for him. But it's just like, he's like, dude, I work over here, so I just basically like, I'll just hang out and then I'll come to class.
Yeah.
You know, right after work. And he's like, it beats fucking driving to the west side during rush hour.
Yeah.
You know, class gets out, 8:30. So it's like, that's when it's fine to drive to the west side.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that sucks. I mean, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But it's funny how much people like, I'm like, if class isn't 4 minutes from my house, I'm not going.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
But there's
it's
people
hard.
like, Bill drives a half hour.
Yep.
Gilbert drives
Bill drives like almost an hour.
That's because he drives a Tesla.
No, well, that.
He puts that thing on autopilot, it goes.
But he's
slow.
like in Santan, dude.
Yeah.
That's a long way from Alma School in the 60.
Yeah, someone should open a school out there.
Fuck that.
Somebody. Hey, I'm just saying, there's a couple people that are chomping at the bit for that, and someone needs to shit or get off the pot. I'm just saying. I'm not going to name names right now, but I'm assuming you want some more tea?
Yeah.
This is tea, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, this is a good idea with the little cuppies.
I fucking love these.
That's good. Thank you. That's perfect. Spilling the shit.
We're only almost halfway.
See, we're controlling ourselves.
We're gonna go have pasta after this, and then I need to fucking start making weight. There's some fucking featherweights in town that need to get their ass kicked.
Are you doing March?
Is it? It's early March, right?
Yeah.
No, I can probably make lightweight by March. Well, I absolutely can make lightweight in March. I don't know if I can make featherweight by March.
You guys listening to this bullshit?
I'm like 165 right now. So like making lightweight's easy, but making featherweight, I'm like, ooh, that's like 15 pounds.
Feather's a lot.
Yeah. But I need to get back there because I want to do Masters International during Worlds. And then I want to do Nationals, obviously, and Worlds, obviously.
Yeah.
Master Worlds, obviously.
Yeah, I want to do more, like I said, more no-gi competitions. Mm-hmm. So, but I think I'm going to have to travel a little bit. I'm doing no-gi in March. And I think that'll be like the springboard when I start picking up some tournaments here and there.
Yeah, I was talking to Danny at the tournament today, and I was like, honestly, like I actually haven't like been putting on much weight, but I feel like I've been transferring all of my muscle into fat.
Because
I feel chunkier.
I don't know how that. I don't know if that's how it works. So your muscle atrophies and your fat.
Well, that's what I mean. I've been losing muscle and then I've been gaining fat because because I haven't been lifting because like I don't know, it's hunting season.
So cute. It's so cute.
I've just been like fuck it. During hunting season, well, like so here's my thought on it. Like when it's during hunting season, I don't want to do anything that's going to make me like tired to like draw my bow or like go out. So,
no, dude, trust me. I know. Yes.
So like I don't like during hunting, and it's probably dumb, honestly, but like it's just my thought process on it. So I'm like, I'm not gonna like lift heavy or like do any of that kind of stuff that's gonna possibly fucking strain me to the point where like when I need to get to action that I can't because I'm tired.
Well, I mean, if you look at what Cam Hanes is, 57 now or something fucking ridiculous.
It's because he's a pussy.
He only trains
every day
for hunting season.
Yeah, that's the only thing he trains for.
During hunting season, he's not lifting because he's hunting. So that makes perfect sense.
You see his son break the fucking pull-up record in 24 hours?
Did he really?
It's like 9,000 pull-ups.
Get the fuck out. 9,000 pull-ups?
Someone go check the numbers. But it's like in 24 hours, his hands are like fucking mittens because they're like so swollen.
Yeah.
And they're like the skin's peeled off, like, or is like, it's just shredded.
Wow.
But it's like 24 hours of pull-ups. You have 24 hours, do as many pull-ups as you can. however you want to space that. Like obviously you're not doing pull-ups for 24 hours, but
right,
like,
you're not hanging from a bar for 24 hours. So,
right.
Okay. Huh.
And it was like close to 9,000.
And wasn't the last one the last guy that broke it that Psycho Seal guy? What's his name?
I mean, it has to be one of those guys with fucking a lot of mental trauma.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers. Have you seen like the plank record?
Isn't that like 24 hours or something like that?
It's hours. I don't remember how long it is. I'm like, dude, I'm like 2 minutes in. I'm like, bro, can we knock this off?
You know, the thing about planks is like, it could be like 30 seconds. And at 10 seconds, I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? It's like a minute, like 50
There's
seconds.
a lot of mental to it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But like I think the record is somewhere close to like 8 or 9 hours.
Okay.
But it's like, I
bet it's longer than that.
I can't even sit at my desk at work for 8 or 9 hours. You know what I mean? Like I am
bored.
So fucking bored.
Yeah.
And what is more boring than a plank?
I don't know. Jiu-Jitsu tournaments?
Like, but you know what I'm saying? Like bench pressing, at least you're doing something. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a boring lift, but at least you're doing something. A plank, you are literally just holding a position.
Yep. That's it.
For a whole work day.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I think it's longer than that.
And I think the guy who did it he's just like some cop. I'm like, is your job that boring that this is exciting to you?
Yeah, no shit. Well, he probably sits in a car a lot.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. But I mean, like, can you fucking imagine holding a plank for a work day? A whole work day?
No.
I couldn't imagine doing it for like my break.
Yeah.
Like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You're like, take a 15-minute break, like a smoke break.
Yep.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to hold a plank for my smoke break. It was like, I'm done 30 seconds.
Yeah,
fuck like,
that.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
Fuck this. I'm already bored thinking about it.
Oh my God. Have you seen that there's an app that doesn't let you access your phone until you do push-ups?
That's cool.
And it watches you. It like looks at your body while you're doing them.
Yeah, until like app is like malfunctioning and you're like, motherfucker, that was a push-up. He's like, pick your fucking ass, put your ass down, asshole.
It counts them for you. That's one.
One.
That's one.
One.
That's one.
One. It's just fucking with you.
It's like a shitty drill sergeant.
Oh man, that'd be a good app if it just send it to me. I'll judge.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, I fucking hate that shit. Have you ever watched like competitive lifting?
Yeah.
And somebody will do something that like looks like to like the lay person, it like looks like, oh, that was fucking impressive, and they're like, not a rep.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
Fuck you. It's like, well, he sagged on one side, so it doesn't count. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You do it.
Yeah.
And then the guy does it. Because it's like all the judges are fucking like, all power lifters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you watch that stuff.
What happened to that CrossFit stuff?
They all got hurt and died.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like...
they're all on opiates.
You watch like... So Sierra and I like to send like gym fails, and gym fails, like, like people doing like, what's it called? The when you're doing this, it's like what people who can't squat do. Leg press.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The soft people do that.
Yeah.
Because you can stack on plates, and it's like, I don't know if you can find a max on a leg squat machine.
No, you can't.
Or a leg press machine.
I can push like 600. I can't push 600.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You put a bar on top of you, you're like 120.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I could squat as a small girl.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But you put the leg press, man, I could fucking put up
one leg.
An elephant.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, bro. It's like the quintessential like ego machine.
It is. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I love when people lock their knees out.
Oh, and they go the other way.
It folds.
Oh.
Yep. It's like you're not gonna.
Have you seen the ones where the girls fail in the squat, and it rolls off their back and it rips their hair out?
It grabs their ponytail.
Oh my God, dude! Like chunks of hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so bad.
Have you seen? There's it's not. I don't think it's. No, it's definitely not Olympic. It's like one of those powerlifting ones where the guy like he's doing a clean and jerk where where they have to press it over their head.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And his arm snaps, and then as he drops it, it falls on the back of his neck. So not only is he broke his arm, it also breaks one of his vertebrae.
Oh my God.
So he gets double fucked. Those the jerk, where they just throw it over their head,
the snatch,
and the snatch, and they do that like staggered stance, right? Staggered stance.
Yeah,
it's like the fails on those videos are the best, where they drop the weight on their fucking extended knee. Oh man.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There is an endless supply of this.
On the
Sierra and
internet.
I send this shit back and forth.
Sierra was like, I asked her, I can't remember what we were talking about. I was like, hey, did you see the video? Like we were talking about a jiu-jitsu video. And she's like, no, Tojo kept sending me decapitation videos.
Well, all right. So we either send gym fails where people just have catastrophic gym injuries, or, which is even better, industrial accidents.
Oh my God. Do you see the lady with the arm?
That's my favorite.
Dude.
Because that bitch is fucking straight faced. It fucking clamps her, it stamps her arm.
I almost spit my fucking drink.
It comes back out, and that bitch is just like her fucking jello arm, because every bone in her arm is broken 100 times.
Oh yeah. It's shattered.
And she brings it out, and it's just this fucking jello arm, and she's like not screaming.
In shock. Completely in shock.
No.
Had to be in shock.
No. She's a fucking savage.
She's a gangster.
That fucking bitch has killed people. She has killed people. She's like, yep, that's going to need to be repaired.
Oh my God, yeah.
But there's so many. Yeah, there's a really good one where this guy like falls in this hole, and it's like these pipes, right? There's like a stack of pipes, and one of the pipes like starts rolling, right? And these are like big, heavy pipes.
Yeah.
And he's like, he goes to like lift himself up out of this hole, and the pipe catches his head and then hits the edge. And since it's a big, heavy pipe, it just keeps rolling, and his head fucking pops off.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They're all in China or Mexico or India.
And they just keep on going.
Those are the only 3 places where these fucking things happen. And they just love to film it for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they put cameras in these. Well, I know why.
Internet.
Instagram, baby. I fucking love it. I can't not look at it.
What's the site? What's the page?
My algorithm. It's called Instagram. Instagram's for adults. Get out of here, you fucking TikTok pussies.
You're horrible.
TikTok is like, oh, that's a little too violent. We can't have that here.
Is there still TikTok? Where's that go?
It went away for like half an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I remember we were, Amy and I were in Mexico, and there was a so
I love when you can't finish a sentence without laughing.
So there was a group, like, I remember JJ's, where it's like a little stage, like it kind of stages up toward the building. Like, so on the lower level, there was like a family, these people that brought their fucking kids.
Shit rolls downhill.
Yeah, shit does. But they were like teenage kids,
Yeah. They're the worst.
And I heard one of them was like, oh my God, TikTok's back. This is the greatest day of my life.
Who fucking cares? TikTok is literally the worst.
She's like, this is the greatest day of my life.
Of all the social medias, it's the fucking worst. You can't even have decapitation videos.
Why not? Don't the Chinese like that?
No. They're all their videos. It's all people in China factories getting decapitated. They don't like showing off how fucking like inept their infrastructure is.
Inept? That's a big word.
Well, it's actually a small word.
No, not really. It's a big word. I mean, for you.
I know.
You're small.
All the words look big to me.
Yeah, that's I've never been we have believe it or not, we put our videos on TikTok, but it's not like I spend time watching that. It's totally
like it's like a different demographic for sure, but it's also like the style of videos are different. Like obviously it's shorthand, right? Like it's like basically the same thing as like Instagram Reels.
Okay.
But like I don't know, it's more positive.
Really?
Like Instagram Reels is like it's where the big dogs play.
Yeah. Well,
because we're allowed to shit on each other.
When we first got
thanks Zuckerberg.
When we first started putting our shit on TikTok, the podcast stuff, I went and looked at it. The pod. I went and looked at it, and I was like, okay, whatever, same shit, right? And then somehow it kind of traps you. Like
Okay.
it starts showing you things like, oh, that kind of looks interesting, you know? And it was about the Gilbert Goon stuff,
Yeah.
but it's long form.
When I was driving back from the tournament today,
You ran into some goons?
no. There was this like
Did you shoot him?
totally like 16-year-old kid driving a Tesla,
What?
and all I could think
His mom's Tesla?
is like that kid's definitely raped him.
Oh, no.
Because it's just like all these fucking these rich Gilbert kids
Okay. These, yeah. Go ahead.
have their parents who fucking like are just like the police station, like politics, like they're all like interweaved in that.
Yeah.
And they fucking just hide these people.
But that is like par for the churches, right?
Yeah, I mean, like obviously the Catholic Church does that. I mean,
I mean
like,
they're the worst. But
you go
yeah.
back to like the East Coast, and it's like it's very much like the Catholic Church is hiding these people.
Yeah.
Here it's the Mormon Church.
Wow. Yeah.
You're like Gilbert, Queen Creek, I guess, is kind of like Gilbert adjacent, right?
I don't know how many of the goons are Mormon. I have no idea.
All
but,
of them.
I don't know. But that kind of went away. You notice that?
Well, you put enough light on it.
No, it just went away.
Yeah.
The only guy that was doing anything about that was the sheriff in Pima County.
Yeah.
That guy was like kicking in doors and shit.
Yeah.
I think something happened in his county, so that gave him like authorization because he's a fucking sheriff.
Yeah.
That gave him authorization to start kicking in fucking doors and shit.
The fact that
Ham is that his name?
I don't know. For Pima County, why the fuck would I know that?
Because you're
Bro,
connected.
I live in Maricopa County.
Oh, so Arpaio. Who's the sheriff? Who's the sheriff?
I was just about to say like I know who the sheriff is.
Nobody knows.
Not anymore.
Everybody still thinks it's Arpaio. Isn't he dead? Is Arpaio dead?
I hope so.
Oh my god.
That guy was a tool. It was cool seeing Heston today.
Yeah, good seeing Hess, man.
I thought it was funny because like he was like the head of security at the Bellbank Park. What the fuck it's called? Legacy? I don't even know.
Arizona Athletic Grounds.
Whatever the fuck. Who cares?
All of Arizona.
But now he was there today. I was like, returning to the scene of crime. I love Heston.
Nah, he's a great guy.
Who fucking doesn't love Heston though?
He's one of the one of the guys that has talked me through a lot of hard times. Like, helped me navigate some hard times. So,
but he has so much experience in like the world of like not only politics, but just like kind of like dealing with like the kind of like the reality of like living in like. It's hard to say polite society, right?
Yeah.
But it's like because he's been a cop forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's seen the worst of humanity, right?
He's been a cop since the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case you guys don't know, it's 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. He started out just a patrol guy in Phoenix and ended up being the top cop in Arizona.
Yeah, and it's hard because like I can't imagine like how like jaded you must become.
I don't think Heston is jaded.
He's not.
I think he's able to because he's so aware of who he is as a person. He's able to kind of deflect some of the bad shit that people do.
Sure, yeah.
And
does he compartmentalize it or?
I don't think he does. I think he absorbs it or he deflects it. Not deflects it as in like pretends it doesn't happen. I think he's so aware of like, he's so in tune with his belief structure that it's easy for him to say, it's someone else's belief structure.
Did you have much exposure to like like kind of like just general death when you were younger?
I saw a dead body when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it happen, but I remember I was in Mexico at my aunt's house and there was like, not exactly the top cops surrounding this place, but there was a dead body in this like, imagine like a big carport with a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And the fence kind of went, it covered the whole carport, but there was like another little small fence. So you could climb up on this brick wall and look over the fence.
Right.
And we were up there and I saw a dead body when I was a little kid.
Did you realize it was like that was a guy that was alive?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't really register like that, but I was like, oh, that's weird. Like he's just not moving.
Right.
You know, just laying on his back, not moving.
That's kind of what a dead body is.
Yeah, but I mean, as a kid, you're expecting. I don't know what I'm expecting. Like, you know, I don't know, but
it's kind of weird. Like, so the reason I ask is because like I feel like I deal with death a little bit differently than like say like Kelsey, right? Kelsey definitely struggles with it. Like I was probably the last, like other than doctors, one of the last people to see my father alive.
How old were you?
10.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So because I remember my father in the 80s dealt with cancer. It went into remission. I was born, you know, I basically, you know, got to 10 years, well, more or less 9 years is like when it started like to start coming back or whatever. So he had melanoma.
What does that mean?
It's like skin cancer, like
okay.
really, really fucking nasty skin cancer.
Yeah.
And I remember we were like, he was in the hospital again for like, you know, because it was like starting to get like really bad, right? And it was kind of like where the doctors tell you, you know, you like your dad has somewhere between X and Y years left, right?
Yeah.
Or months left. And so we were going there. He was kind of like more or less, you know, like not responsive, but he was still alive. And they were like, so we were like, oh, he hasn't been shaved in a while. So my mom was like, all right, we're going to give him a shave. So we go in there and like, you see in his face, like he's like going.
Wow.
So we like had to leave and like, we're like, hey, nurses, like, can you look at, and then like, that was basically it.
Whoa.
So we're like literally just going in there to like, you know, give him a shave. And then we're like, oh, this is his last moments.
Wow.
So like I was like I said, I was like the last. Even my little brother wasn't even there. He was like out in the waiting room or whatever. Like just
how old is he?
He's a year and a half younger than me.
Okay. So
Yeah.
he was around 6.
He's more or less my. Well, no.
Or 7, 8.
I was 10.
Yeah.
He was 8.
Sorry, I was thinking 8 in my head for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was at that point. Like I remember him like not really getting it.
Yeah.
And like I was like, we're not going to see your dad again.
Wow.
Right. But like as a young at that young age, like I feel like that's always been like kind of like a thing where it's just like death is a thing, you know, and it's kind of like always like kind of like what I've framed like death that I experience like in my current life. Like it's just like, I don't know how to frame it where it's like, it's more of a reality of life than it is like something where I need to be like completely broken up and like.
So you don't think of it as tragic?
I mean, it is like I understand why people think it's tragic, but it's also like I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it, if that makes any sense, right? Like where it's just like, yeah, it sucks that we lose people forever.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It really does suck. like it would be awesome if you can just be like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
But that's not the reality, right?
Yeah.
But it's also like, you know, like I said, it's a reality of life. We all kind of need to come to terms with it, or you're going to be a fucking mess because especially like the older you get, the more life takes away from you.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm going through that now.
Right. Right. You get it. Right. So it's just like the longer you live, the more and more of your like friends are getting older with you. Yeah. And if they're not taking care of themselves, you are going to lose a lot of your friends before you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Is like the, you know, the likelihood, right? I don't know. It's just always been something where I've been able to like kind of, and like, that sucks.
Yeah.
But I've been able to move on.
Yeah.
Versus someone who like hadn't had that like early exposure to loss.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, losing my mom was like, because I mean, I lost my dad in like 2008. I think it was 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And, but he and I really hadn't talked a whole lot. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I saw him all the time.
Yeah. So it didn't hit as hard because you weren't as close.
I'll tell you what helped. When he was on his last days, I got to have a really good conversation with him. I mean, he couldn't talk a whole lot, but I was able to tell him like, you know, all the shit. Hey, you know, bygones, you know, I forgive you. I hope you forgive me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's helped me a lot. Had I not had that conversation with him, it would have been much harder for me to just move on.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, because I spent a lot of time being pissed off.
Because then you don't really get the closure.
Right. I would not
or at least the attempt to closure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you could say like, I did what I could.
Right. Yeah. So having that conversation with him, as short as it was probably the best thing that happened to me in my adult life with regards to my dad.
Yeah.
And then, but I didn't lose anybody else until my mom passed away last year. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no one real close. You know?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like my brother and I and my father were like really close. Cause like I remember like being a kid and we would like, run into my parents' room and we'd be like watching Star Trek or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
my dad's a dork. Like he was a dork. Like we would watch fucking like Next Generation or whatever.
That's cool.
And like he's the one that like got me into like all of like that kind of like dorky stuff like Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like that was the thing. And like the interesting thing was like so he was a Vietnam veteran.
Oh no kidding.
So my father is actually like quite a bit older than my mother.
Okay.
Right. So it's like I remember like going through like kind of like his old stuff and like being like, oh, look at all these medals and stuff. And he was always just like, yeah.
They don't typically talk about that shit.
He didn't care like to talk about it. Yeah. Cause he was just kind of like, like in hindsight, I realized it was something he didn't want to talk about.
Yeah.
It was like a tough time, but like as a kid, you're like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Do you have any of that stuff like today?
No, I don't. I mean, my mom might.
Okay.
But I'm not really that sentimental. Like as far as like objects go, it's more about the memories.
Sure.
Right? For me at least.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like the one that like holds on to like heirlooms or stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure like if there was something that was like really there. My dad wasn't like that either. Like, but if there was something that was like super important to him, I might. Well, like the one thing I do have is I have my dad's flag.
Oh, cool.
From when he passed away. Like, so, like the military.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I have that. That sits above, that's in my room and that sits above my TV always. I will never get rid of that thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And cool thing is like when my mom eventually remarried, her new husband's grandfather was like a woodworker and he like actually like built the frame that goes around it. So I have that. And so I actually like really cherish that. Like I will never fucking give that away.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Like my house is burning down. I'm grabbing that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. What was it like? In your teenage years when you have all the questions. You know what I mean? All that's formative, right? Not having your dad around. Was there another grown up that stepped up and helped you through that?
So that so my dad passed away when I was 10-ish, right? So like my mom remarried maybe 2 or 3 years after that. So it was a couple years after. So right, kind of like just before like you're kind of like going into like I was more I would say I was probably a late bloomer.
Okay.
Right. So it was kind of like just before like I really started getting into like the whole puberty thing.
Yeah.
So I had like the stepdad and like my brother never had a good relationship with him. I actually like kind of liked him, and I had like he was kind of like more into the things that I was into. Like he was into cars, like he was kind of like more into like the dude stuff. My brother was like more like, he's kind of like a nerd, like,
yeah,
which is funny. Cause like now I would consider myself more of a nerd than him. Cause he's a cop now.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like fucking pigs.
Yeah. and he's in the Army Reserves. So
okay.
Like, he's doing his part.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's just funny. Cause like we kind of like ended up like, and when I was a kid, like I was the fat kid and he was the skinny kid.
Right.
And now he's the fat kid.
I keep forgetting that you were fat. Yeah.
He's bigger than me. He's like 4 inches shorter than me. Ask Kelsey. He's tiny, but he's like this, like he's got this big belly. But like we have, me and my brother have a good relationship now. Like as far like we don't like text each other all the time.
Sure.
But like how when you like see your brother, you're like
pick up right where you left off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with me and my brothers. Yeah.
But we don't text.
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't see him between events or talk to him between like events meaning like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I always had like that stepdad who was like it wasn't like he never felt like you're not my real dad.
Right.
I never got that kind of vibe from him where like he was like trying to replace my dad. So I never felt that. But I feel like my brother might have felt that way, even though he would never gave that.
It's probably, I think because you were there in his last moments, that kind of gave you a little bit more closure than your brother, who was like, what do you mean? That kind of
That's
thing.
a good point, because I never like actually like really considered like what that was like for him.
Yeah.
In his, because he like the way that I always looked at it when from his perspective was like he was just too young to like really realize what was going on.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like I thought I was too young to really realize what was going on. I was 10 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever met a 10-year-old?
They're stupid.
They're fucking stupid.
Yeah, they're fucking stupid.
Yeah. So, but I like it is something that I think about. It's hard to say I think about a lot, but like every once in a while I'll think about it and I'll spend some time thinking about it. Like I'll like reflect on it and you kind of like, you know, compare and contrast like how you feel about it now versus how I felt about it 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you kind of like come out with a little bit of more clarity from like, you know, your own life experience, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Right. Because you're like, as an adult, like, well, when I say adult, like as like an 18-year-old adult, quote unquote, you're like, well, I'm not really mature enough to really handle. Even at 18, if your father fucking dies, you're a fucking mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you haven't experienced much loss.
Well, yeah, I was in my mid-30s and I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about like I said, how important that conversation was is, you know, you have these moments in your life where you're like, they're very significant.
Yeah.
But you don't understand it at the time.
Yeah.
You know? And,
100%.
Yeah. And I remember like when my parents split up, it was weird because like I remember.
Did you struggle with the permanence of it?
No, I struggled with how abruptly it happened.
Okay.
That's what I really struggled with.
Did they kind of keep the kids in like in the dark the whole time?
Let me tell you how in the dark I was. 16 years old.
Yeah.
And I go to spend the night at my. I go to hang out with my friend, my friend Hugo, one of my closest friends growing up.
Hugo,
yeah, Hugo. So he and his you know, his brother, sister, mom, dad, they were all like, we were all super close. They were not close with my family. I was close with them.
Right.
So my mom was always the type like, you know, this is your house, you sleep here. She was that kind of person.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
his mom.
No, my mom.
Okay.
My mom.
Oh,
like my mom would always be like, you go wherever you want, but you come your ass back home.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, so I remember I went to my buddy's house and then I called my mom. I'm like, hey, it's getting late. Do you mind if I spend the night? That, you know, his parents said it was cool. She's like, yeah, go ahead. So the next day I call her up and I'm like, hey, we're going to go do whatever. We're going to go play, hang out, whatever. And then, she's like, hey, why don't you just go ahead and spend the night again? Ask if you can. And I'm like,
that's weird.
That's fucking weird, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool. Yeah. I mean, you know, 16-year-old
as
kid.
a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't fucking. I'm
hindsight's 20/20, but as a kid, you're
I'm
just
not
like,
thinking
fuck
anything.
it. Let's go. Oh, cool.
So, and at that time, we had the spots. Like, we knew where to go get beer and shit. Like, you know what I mean? So we were out drinking and shit like that at his house.
Having a good time.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
even realizing there's like drama in the background.
Nothing, not suspecting a damn thing. And then we, Sunday morning, hungover, we get in my buddy's car. He's taking me home. And I remember I'm sitting in the back seat. My head is pounding. And I'm laying my head back like this. And then my driveway was like, it was a long driveway. We lived like, you know, more than an acre. It was like an acre and a half, basically.
Right.
And there was another big lot next to us that was basically ours. So as we're driving up, my buddy goes, hey, are you moving? And I was like, what? No. There was a U-Haul at my house.
Because your dad was moving out?
We all moved out. They stopped paying on the house, stopped paying the mortgage on the house.
Oh, shit.
And we had to leave.
Right.
We had to leave. And I'm like, what the fuck? I go in there. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, my uncles are there. My brothers are just, my brother Mike is like tearing shit down. Like, hey, everybody stop. What the fuck's going on? You know?
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to pack your shit, dude. We're leaving like today.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't remember if we spent the night in Brownsville or we left. I'm not quite sure how it happened, but we ended up driving to South Carolina to go live with my brother. Yeah. Like this is during high school. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just uprooted. No, we had to have stayed because I got checked out of school the next day and then we had left for South Carolina, where I spent, I don't know, a few months in school. I'm a dark Mexican kid because I was always out in the sun, and I'm wearing button-down shirts, long sleeve jeans with a belt, and fucking rattlesnake boots in South Carolina.
You're Mexican as
Mexican
fuck.
as fuck, dude. And like, and no fights or nothing, but I mean, I was looked at weird, you know?
Yeah.
We had zero money. We had no money. Like, we're talking like, I think I remember, if I remember correctly, I had to put a deposit down to get school books that you can take home.
Right. Just in case you kept the books
Steal
or trashed
them.
them. Yeah.
Didn't have that money. So I had to do all my homework at school.
Right.
And so then we left there. We moved back. We went from living in this like 4-bedroom, you know, giant house with, you know, on an acre and a half to a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
So I'm, you know, 16.
With how many kids?
So at the time it was me, my little sister, and my older brother.
3 of you.
And my mom.
And your mom. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was literally it was just a 1-bedroom apartment. I'll tell you a funny story about that apartment. When I was in 7th grade, I remember skipped school with some friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
We left junior high school, and my friend lived in that apartment, and I smoked my first joint in that apartment.
Hell yeah, you did. How else are you going to deal with trauma?
So that was like a full circle, you know what I mean? No, but this was like 8th grade,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, I'm living in that very same apartment, right? And yeah, so because of all of that, like abrupt moving, you know, I was very angry, and
Where'd your dad go?
my dad went to Laredo, Texas.
Where is that in relation to Brownsville?
So Laredo is like, say, 4 hours north,
Okay.
and it's like on the northwest
And you said
part.
you were in Houston?
Brownsville.
So you stayed in Brownsville. He went to Laredo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were back in Brownsville. We were up in South Carolina with my brother for a while. Just me, Mike, and my mom and my sister came back to Brownsville. She got us settled in, then we came back.
Okay.
And then so we so we were living in that apartment, and then eventually, you know, my mom moved to this other apartment that was like had 3 bedrooms. My brother Mike moved out.
Yeah.
And I never knew what Section 8 housing was
Mm-hmm.
until I was living in it for like a year. And someone mentioned like, oh yeah, this like Section 8. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like it's, you know,
At the time, had you heard this statement or?
no, I'd never heard that.
Because I remember when like hearing the statement and not knowing what it was until I learned what it was, and I was like, oh.
That's where poor people live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd never heard that term until I was like living in it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so not only that, like I saw my mom go through some stuff like with her family, like
Yeah.
you're getting divorced. Like we don't do that.
Right. Well, because you were like probably pretty religious, I would
Yeah.
assume,
It's
being
like
Mexican.
everybody's Catholic, you know,
Yeah.
everybody said you die together regardless. I mean,
Even if you hate each other.
even if you beat each other,
Yeah.
you know, you fucking stay together, you know? So I had all of that resentment and anger and stuff like that in my teenage
At
years.
your mother or
At my dad.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying, like, had I not had
what? Sorry,
No.
sorry to derail.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not derail, but like, what made you choose your dad as the target for that?
so because he left, he wasn't in the house when we were packing. He was gone already. So I didn't like, not even a fuck you. You know what I mean? Like not even a fuck you.
So was it your mother being like, your dad's an asshole?
Nope. She never did that.
Okay.
She never. That was all me.
Because
Yeah.
I see that
Absolutely.
a lot. I see
Absolutely.
That a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So I was just imagine. I mean, you don't have to imagine. Imagine like your dad passed away, so he basically disappeared. But you have this reason,
Right.
Mine disappeared, and I'm like,
He's right there.
yeah,
Like 4 hours away.
Yeah, does
but
he not
whatever.
give a fuck? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like never came around, nothing. And
Do you kind of like start creating your own like narrative?
yeah.
of-
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a kid, right? I'm a kid,
100%,
and I'm going through. I mean, all hormones are fucking going crazy. I'm fucking angry all
Yeah.
the time. So I spent the better part of my adulthood pissed off at him.
Right.
And imagine you're 30 something years old with your own family.
Mhm.
Like I'm fucking my family up, and I don't even know it because I'm still pissed
When
off
was the
at this
first time
guy.
you talked to him after that? Or did you guys keep in touch?
20 years old. I was 20 years old. Yeah.
So a handful of years.
Yeah. So I was 20 years old the next time I saw him.
And when just just to reframe. So when did the divorce happen and or the split up or whatever? And then when was the first? And
16 when it happened. And then I saw him again when I was 20.
So 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was 4 years without your dad. And then you're just like, all right, now I see you again.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Like, it was weird, man, because like, gosh, man, I can't explain like the feelings I had. Because my brother Mike stepped up big. He was like my father figure. He's only like 3 years older than I am, you know?
Isn't it funny though, like when you're like a little kid and like the guy who's like a year older than you seems like an adult?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm just an idiot child and this is adult.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you look back at it as like an adult and you're like, you're both fucking idiot children.
Yeah. So it was actually because I joined the Navy at 19. I went to boot camp and all that other shit. And then I was going to get transferred to Panama. And then I had to go to a 6-week security school in San Antonio. By the way, San Antonio is fucking awesome. So
way better than Houston.
Oh, way better. Well, I mean, I had no responsibilities, no nothing. I just partied.
And everyone's better than Houston.
Yeah. So everything's better than Houston. So so San Antonio is like 2 hours from Laredo. So I hit him up. I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to be in San Antonio for like 6 weeks if you want to come out.
And this is from like the perspective of I'm an adult, like whatever. Like
not really, because so the reason I say it was weird is because my brother Mike always had a really good relationship with him. And I felt...
See, I'm so much more vindictive. Like if that happened to me, I'd be like, fuck him.
Yes. Yeah.
I would never talk to that person
That was
again.
me. But then my... So then when I called him, he and my brother Mike came up to San Antonio to get me.
Yeah.
So I could go back to Laredo and hang out with them. So I'm sitting there like, I want to be pissed off, but Mike seems to be okay with this.
Doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
When you just want to be mad, but you can't.
But I can't, because my brother Mike is like, what am I missing here?
Oh,
you know what I mean? What am I missing? Because like, he's okay with it. Anyway, so it's funny because like this is the mid 90s. Okay. So it's a very different time. So they drank the whole way down. So they show up in my dad's Blazer.
Wait, you don't still do that?
No, they showed up in my dad's Blazer. So they're like, oh, they're like, you should drive. I'm like, okay. So I'm driving back and my brother Mike's like feeding me beer. Fucking horrible.
Oh, it's still like that. Don't worry about it.
It's still like that. And they're like, oh, just keep it at 72. Don't worry about it. So
set the cruise control.
Yeah, set the cruise to 72.
Well, in the 90s, it's like very few cars had cruise control.
Very few.
But now it's just like
nothing. Yeah. So anyway, spent the night and dude, okay. So this is where like the anger went to another level and I had to swallow that shit. Cause again, Mike seems to be okay with this. So what am I missing?
Yeah.
We went from a nice house to a little apartment, Section 8 housing. I joined the Navy. My mom's still in the Section 8 housing. During her.
Do you think you would have joined the Navy if this didn't happen?
I always wanted to be in the military.
Okay.
Yeah. So either way, I think I wanted to be Army.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm always curious as like what kind of pushes people into like different positions. Like if trauma. It's trauma. Right? If this trauma didn't happen, would you have still joined?
No, I think I would have still joined because I wanted to be in.
Yeah.
So and it saved my life. I mean, it really did. So but so we get to his house and it's a fucking beautiful house. It's a big fucking beautiful house with a pool and it's on a golf course.
Is he married? Remarried?
He's remarried. Not to the person he cheated with. He married her, divorced her, found this one, married her.
It's weird how the person they cheat with never sticks around.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's when the anger went to another level. And I didn't really realize it. Like I played it cool, you know what I mean? And
so there was resentment.
Oh, huge, man. I mean, my mom's living... my mom always kept a really clean house, really clean. So you would never know that.
Well, it's like the typical Mexican family where like the mom is doing all of the fucking homework.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, my mom will even like pull the curtains off the wall every, couple of weeks and wash them and iron them. You know what I mean? So,
I have curtains. Wait
a second. So you would never know, like if you were inside my house, you'd be like, oh, they're living fine. You know, but we were like dead ass broke all the time.
Yeah.
So, and then I see this, like he has a brand new truck, his wife has a, nice car.
Where is this support?
Yeah. I mean, I struggle to pay for anything. Like, honestly, like my brother Mike, he skipped meals so Lily and I could eat. That's the kind of guy he is.
So you can't hate him too much.
I can't. Fuck no. I love him. He's my fucking guy, man. No matter what.
Let me know if you want to fight him though.
Nah, I'll whip his ass. I'll whip his ass. But again, like everything was like, well, Mike seems to be okay with this. You know what I mean?
So you think you're missing something?
Yes. So like it, and that makes you question your judgment. I mean,
Right.
big time. So anyway, yeah. So I see this giant house. I see like all this beautiful stuff, and I'm like, fuck this, man. Like, I wanted, like, half of me was like, let's burn this motherfucker to the ground.
Yeah. Let's make him feel what we felt.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah.
And then after that, I just kind of ran away from it. You know, I stayed away from Brownsville. I stayed away from my mom. I stayed away from him. And then I just kind of reinvented myself, lived my own life, my own existence. And
did you have a moment where you realized that like your parents' lives are separate from like the way you're living?
Yeah, man, big time. Yeah,
right. Because you kind of have to like come to terms with like they're going through their shit, like your parents, divorcing or whatever. You're like, I can either latch onto that or I can make my own life.
Yeah. Well, you know what helped me is like I internalized like a lot of the anger that I had after the conversation with him, and I was like, how many mistakes have I made?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like how?
Because none of us are perfect.
Fuck no, man. Like I'm sure because we're cut from the same cloth, basically, right? He probably felt like I'm going to fix this.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, but like, just because you're like, we're related to our relatives doesn't mean that we would make the same decisions they made in the same situation.
No. But just like anything else, man, when you're like, I'm going to fix this. And then one day turns into 3 and 3 days turns into a week turns into a month turns into a year.
But my point is that like, I feel like a lot of people like kind of like use it as a way to like kind of put themselves down or not put themselves down, but to gaslight themselves into like thinking that like their feelings about a situation are like, well, you would do the same
invalid.
thing.
Yeah.
You would do the same thing if you were in a situation because you're related. It's
no,
like, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like tough to like cope with like, hey, we're all different people. And like, yeah, maybe he felt like that was like the best way to handle that situation.
Yeah.
You probably would have handled, I mean, the reality is everyone would have handled that situation differently.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how do we get on the subject? Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
But you dealing with that loss is like, it's unfair for a 10-year-old to have to do that.
Yeah. And, and I think that way too, a lot of times, but I'm like, have you ever thought like, so like with your parent, like, so I have my father's like, passing, my father passing away like really young. I always had a good relationship with my father and my mother for that matter. Right. Like when I was young, you had to deal with like, a divorce, which is definitely like different, definitely less tragic.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
For sure. No, it is. Absolutely.
But you know what I mean? Like it's like still like as a child, it's still traumatic, right? To have your kids either split up or one of your parents dies or both of your parents dies. That's God forbid, right? That's like
that, and I never had to work for a thing in my fucking life at that point,
right? Which
is
like, which is kind of, what's funny is like that's kind of like every parent's like dream is to be able to provide absolutely everything for their kid, but it's also the worst thing you could do for your kid.
Oh, dude, I don't remember a single time where my mom was like, "Make sure you pick up your laundry."
Right.
Make sure, hey, take your shoes to your room.
Right.
She did everything for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my dad provided, the home, and she kept it up. That's kind of the way it worked.
Right. So like I remember like, losing my father in that way, but like, and I think back on it, and it was like I would be a completely different person, and like I kind of like it's kind of weird because you're like I kind of like feel like it kind of built my ability to handle that kind of loss better.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, and it's hard to say like, man, I'm glad that happened to me when I was young, right? It's hard, you can't say that, right? But it's also like, how else do you build that resilience?
Yeah, through tragedy, unfortunately, right?
Right. It's the only way like you can like really like learn to like it's kind of like sad, but like the reality is like the earlier you are forced to cope with like loss, the better equipped you are to handle it in age, because I've known people who have had zero loss as like a younger person, like I would say like young adult and earlier, right? And then like, you know, like their dog dies and they're like
right.
And it, like, don't get me wrong, like
tragic.
I had to put my dog down like a couple of years ago, and it was like it fucking hurts, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's no getting around it. That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Right? But like,
and Buddy was a great dog.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, but you learn to like deal with this tragedy, and and the reality is like kind of like the earlier you deal with like the earlier you're exposed to that kind of tragedy, like kind of like the better off you are.
Yeah.
But God, you would never be like, hey kid, I'm gonna kill your dad. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's like one of those double-edged swords where you're like, on one edge, you're like, I want to like zero tragedy, but then like later in life, tragedy is way harder, right?
It's so difficult.
But then like you're also like, well, do I want to expose a child to tragedy?
Right. Yeah. Oh God,
right?
yeah.
Because it was because I've like thought about this before, whereas like, would it have been better if my father passed away when I was in my 20s?
Probably not.
Right? Or like, would it have been as meaningful to like the way that I can kind of cope with tragedy? Because like Kelsey and I deal with tragedy differently. Like, you know, like she just had her grandmother pass away, right? Like, which is, you know, any relative that you were like even relatively close with, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
Like when they pass away, right? But like your ability to cope with that, it's not like a teachable skill. I can't teach you how to deal with like with loss, right?
Yeah.
It's something you literally just have to like deal with. You learn from being in the trenches, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, right? So you have your parents die, your brother die, your friend die, or whatever, and there's no class you can take at like a college, like, or high school or wherever that can teach you how to deal with that. Like it's 100% learned through doing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I think it is easier to learn earlier you learn it, but like that's not to say that you want like every young person to experience tragedy, because that's also a very tragic thing to say. Yeah.
I actually had a person that I knew, whose dad passed away, and her dad was he was a pastor of a church. Mm-hmm. So she grew up as like a pastor's kid. This motherfucker ruined everything. Let me tell you something. He proposed to his wife on Valentine's Day. He saved I don't know, fucking, you name the holiday, he saved a kid on Flag Day. He'd fucking played Santa Claus at Christmas. He was like, whatever. Every fucking holiday, this guy was all about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now they can't celebrate a holiday without being like so freaking broken up about
their dad. They're reminded of this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking asshole.
Yeah, what
That's my goal.
Yeah, dude.
I want to be like, no, you can't celebrate anything without fucking being upset because of me. Man, that guy fucking played it.
Oh, dude, he played it big, dude.
Oh man,
it was
honestly, I'm jealous. Wait, I got plenty of years left. I should. All right, I need to start. All right, now I know what to strive for.
Dude, it seemed like
every holiday comes along, I'm like, all right, I got to do something big.
So her ex-husband and I were friends. And so he would come over. We live next door to each other. He would come over. I was like, hey, what's up, Don? He was like, everybody thinks, he goes, everybody deals with their, you know, with their, you know, trauma differently. So I'm giving her a little space. But yeah, it would seem like every holiday. Oh, he did this.
Son of a bitch.
He saved a busload of children on Flag Day. So goddamn, dude. This guy
took a bullet for the president on President's Day.
President's Day. Who knew? So yeah, that guy was something else, man. God bless him, but holy shit, he ruined a lot of people.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like it's like, I mean, we're kind of running along here, but like, it's so hard to say like, I wish I didn't have to experience that, because it kind of makes you the person you are, and it makes you as resilient as you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, you need those, there's no, like, you can't take a pill.
Yeah.
To teach you how to deal with trauma.
It's impossible.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, you have to fucking just go through it.
And I think like the way you internalize it where it's a part of life. I think that's very healthy. And I think like in the community that we're in, you know, we're around so many people. Like, you know, if you look at any jiu-jitsu school, it's
with any walk of life.
Yeah. If you look at any group that you're in, you're connected to at least 250 people.
Right.
At one point, one of them is going to go through that.
Yeah.
Right. And if
they might
yeah
be the one that passes away.
Right. Yeah. But if somebody were to come to me and be like, hey man, you know, my wife and I it's just not going well and I'm going to go a different direction.
Divorce her, bitch.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, get rid of her. No. But you know, I would tell them like, hey man, how old are your kids? I have a 16-year-old son. You need to be in communication with that kid every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that as hard as it was, that would have helped.
Yeah.
You know?
Just
let me know you give a fuck.
Well,
you know?
Here's the reality of it. It was like, so like a lot of times I think parents try to shelter their kids from the traumas of life. It's like, the reality is like the more honest you can be, regardless of how painful that that honesty might be, the better off you are.
100%.
Because like the more you lie to somebody about like, oh, you know, like your dog's up in heaven.
Right.
You know, that kind of shit. Like all that does is kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
You're not helping anybody.
No.
Right? The more that like you can kind of like be earnest, right? But also, you know, supportive still, like be like, all right, so like, yeah, you're not going to see your dad anymore.
Yeah.
You know, because of X, whatever. Yeah. Maybe he passes away, car accident or cancer or whatever it is. Yeah. Like the more you can kind of like be earnest with like the fact that like you're not going to see your dad again. I'm here for you. Like, you know, just be open to like to the support, right? But like lying to somebody about like, you know, they're in a better place. But,
yeah.
You know, I feel like all the platitudes that like come with like loss.
Yeah.
I think they do more harm than good.
Yeah.
Is really what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah.
From someone who's like lived through that kind of trauma, it's like, it's so much better to start that grieving process earlier versus in like kind of being like in the dark about it.
Yeah.
And then like having to be like kind of blindsided, be like, wait a second, I thought you said this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like, just be honest, open, and available, you know, to the people that like, who are experiencing loss around you, because like, that's all you can do.
Yeah. That's really important. That's a really important point. And we're probably going two different directions with this, but I think that point is really important because, so Amy, so I came from a long list of like believers, like a long line of believers, like Catholics and then, you know, whatever you name.
I thought you meant in the flat earth.
No, it's hot dog earth now.
Oh,
yeah.
Sounds delicious.
but like, Amy's family, early on, they were also, you know, Catholic and, you know, Italian family.
Right.
And, her mom or her uncle was, very sick, cancer. And someone told her mom, like, you know, you got to pray really hard for him to get better.
Because, sorry, I'm going to.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
But it's like the problem with like talking to kids, especially kids like that, when the inevitable happens, that person dies from their cancer, like they lose that battle with cancer. Now that kid feels like it's their fault.
Dude.
They didn't pray hard enough.
I'm telling you. She says, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and he still died.
Yeah, it's so fucking sad.
Yeah.
And they think they're doing it good, which makes it even more tragic.
Dude, she's 72.
Yeah.
And she still has that feeling.
Yeah, it's so tragic because it like, you think you're doing someone a favor by like kind of like softening the blow, like they're in a better place, like all you have to do is pray for them. It's like, but they have this like, how do you even put it? Like, it's just like they have this imaginary view of what the world is, and they're like, oh, it's going to be better. And then you realize that it's not.
Yeah. So
like your father does pass away from that cancer that you were supposed to pray for.
Yeah. You know, and when my dad passed away, that was cancer. And, you know, thank goodness, because it was fucked up, got in his throat and his brain. He was pretty messed up.
It's pretty fucked up to watch, right?
Up, yeah.
And the reality is like, if you live long enough, probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, if you live long enough. Yeah. And then, you know, my mom, not only did she have, you know, cancer of the liver and all that other stuff, but her whole dude, I remember her when I was a little kid with a cane. She had a cane because she had a degenerative joint disease.
Sure, yeah.
And she had both hips replaced, both knees replaced. And then she slipped one time and broke her leg, like below the joint replacement. So they had to redo like the hip.
Oh,
yeah. Dude, she might have been like in her 30s.
Yeah.
You know? And she's always struggled like with it. She's had a walker or a cane her whole life. And then this cancer, you know, took her life. And I'm like, honestly, man, I'm just glad she's not in pain no more.
Dude, I remember my father going through chemo, like the second time around, right? Obviously, the first time was before I was born. Second time was like when I was like there to witness it.
Yeah.
I remember he came home once and he was like all fucking like his face was all scraped up and shit. And it's because the chemo fucked him up so bad that he like was like he was walking down the stairs from the Mayo Clinic and like fell and got like all fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, when you're a kid, your dad's your hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's fucked up to see that like your hero like has this moment of weakness.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it sucks. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It really fucking sucks. And like, and there's no like substitute for that exposure. Right. Which is sad in itself. Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I think it's even worse when you like cover it in platitudes, when you like hide what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Like I think if my mom ever hid that from me, I feel like I'd be more upset that happened.
Well, Asian moms are not the type to hide shit from you.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like you're just gonna fucking hear it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Which seems harsh, but honestly, I think it's the better way.
Yeah. Yeah. It does seem pretty harsh, but it you know, at the end of the day, like even if you're 8 years old, if somebody sits you down and tells you the way it is, kids are more resilient than we give them credit for.
Well, I mean, we always talk about like the positive side of being a kid is like you're like, oh, kids can learn 100 languages when they're kids because they're so plastic, like they're so able to like mold themselves into like. But it's like that also is true emotionally.
Yeah,
like I feel like kids exposed to more emotional trauma, we keep saying that, like the more it's so much easier for a child to be exposed to that trauma and learn to deal with it as they're developing versus like a kid who's been sheltered from it and then they're 30 and then they're like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but trauma exists in the world.
Or
your dad's dead.
Yeah. Or oh shit.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
It's so much more jarring when you've been sheltered your entire life than it is like to actually be exposed to it earlier. And I mean, that's my personal experience. Like I would like, it sucks that I had to like go through my dad dying when I was 10, but like also, God, man, it would suck if I if I wasn't exposed to any sort of loss until like, say like now when I'm almost 40.
Yeah. And there's a lot of truth to that in a physical standpoint. Like if you pick up your kid every time they fall, they're going to be soft.
Right.
You know, they're going to be soft.
You got to let them fall.
You got to let them fall. And you know, it's funny. My ex-wife and I, when Tony, oh my gosh, my poor son. So Tony would fucking eat it, dude. I mean, this is before they rubberized all the fucking playgrounds. They were still like, you could fuck up your arms.
Let him get hurt.
Let him get hurt. So he would be running and he would just fuck it, dude. He would eat it. And we're like, don't look at him. Don't look at him. Don't look at him. And
then they get the attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can see the peripheral vision. He's like looking at us. And if we didn't look at him, he'd just get up, take off running.
It's fine. Yeah. Because he's not hurt.
He's not. But I mean, he's scared.
I mean, occasionally they like break a bone, but like, it's like, it's scared.
Yeah.
Right. And if they see the fear in their parents' eyes, they're like, oh, I should be scared.
Yeah. Yeah. When he broke his arm in football, I was like, oh, fuck.
Fuck yeah.
I was like, how you doing? He goes, I don't know. My arm hurts. I was like, all right, well, let's go to the hospital. And dude, they put it back in place. And it was pretty amazing. Like, have you ever seen like, oh, I'm sure you're kind of the medical field, but have you seen like the x-rays where they're like active?
Oh,
like,
no.
You could fucking see the shit moving. I was like, that is so cool. So the doctor's like, oh yeah, we just got to have to move this.
Put it in the right spot.
Put it right. Perfect. And then when they were casting it,
all those doctors died of fucking cancer. Just so you know.
You know what's funny? My son had a Avenged Sevenfold beanie on, and the doctor was like a metalhead.
Yeah.
And so he was like on duty because we took him there at night, but he was actually a surgeon. And so the surgeon is setting my son's arm, and because we asked for a consultation. Well, they gave us a consultation because it was close to like whatever, you know. And anyway,
some bullshit.
Yeah, some bullshit. But he's setting his arm, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, my staff tries to stump me, like with music. Like when he's doing surgery, they pipe in music, and he's like, and it's loud. Like I like it loud.
Yeah.
And they'll try to play something that I don't know, and he'll spout off like what it is and shit like that. He's a total
so he's Doctor Strange.
He is something like that. Yeah. But he's a total metalhead. And when he saw the Avenged
Sevenfold,
Sevenfold,
because all surgeons are autistic.
but he was a metalhead. So he was telling me about, and we were telling him like, we went to see him at this some festival, and he's like, it was really cool.
That is fucking cool.
Yeah. Anyway, but.
All right, we went deep today.
Hour 40.
Yeah, Kelsey's pissed.
Is she? She texting you?
No. I don't know. I fucking ignore her text messages.
All right, let's wrap it up. All right, everybody, if you love the podcast or if you hate the podcast, please like and subscribe. Please follow us on Instagram. Please follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube, goddammit. And we are the BJJ Foxcast. And don't forget that blue belts can do what?
Nothing.
They can beat everybody.
Beat everybody. I'm sorry.
Blue belts can beat everybody. I've been trying to work that in, but Tojo doesn't.
It's because I hate blue belts.
Nice. Anyway,
they're like the worst blue belt or worst white belts.
Yeah.
Because they stick around.
Ooh, blue belts?
They should just quit.
No, don't quit.
I'm just kidding.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. I want to introduce you to our latest sponsor, Salt Electrolytes. Feeling depleted after a tough grappling session? Well, Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs. Salt contains 6 different electrolytes with a touch of iodine to help maintain a healthy thyroid. No sugar, no dyes, no bullshit. Go earn your salt.